Let's talk about health and the government. My name is Michael Lentz. I'm running for mayor of Coeur d'Alene. I'm running against two retired Republicans as the change candidate on growth. I want to keep Coeur d'Alene special. I want to keep what has been built and earned here by the locals and the residents. I want to keep all of that as it is. You can find me at strongyoungmayor.com or on Instagram at strongyoungmayor. And right now, the trajectory is to just pave over everything and turn it into Spokane. I am not cool with that. And that's where everything's going. So if you want to preserve your city, you have to get involved. So let's talk about health and the government. I don't believe that the government should be getting involved in people's personal health decisions. I am not a fan of that. I think that's certainly a very slippery slope. And so I'm just going to say, in an abstract way, I'm not in favor. This video is going to be a little bit abstract because YouTube likes to mess with people when they don't like what they say. So I think there's been a big problem over the last 2 years of a lot of the experts in mainstream ways being either wrong or less than right, more than they've been right. And that obviously hurts their credibility and it hurts our ability to be able to trust anybody. And that's a real big problem. So I'm definitely very skeptical of everything that's been going on and, paying attention to a lot of the emerging science. I've been paying attention since the very beginning. To give you an idea of how into this I was at the very beginning, in January of 2020, before most people had even heard of any of this, I had N95 masks for myself and my parents. So I was very keyed in to what's going on months before most people. And even now, for example, there was a recent Senate hearing where the head of Health and Human Services had not heard of, he said in public he had not heard of the recent Israeli study. A lot of the Israeli data has been on the forefront of the emerging science among some of the most reliable studies. And, he's one of the big guys. He's one of the big guys traveling around making recommendations, and he hadn't even heard of this big study. So, I'm skeptical of, and I'm not ascribing intent, but I'm just very skeptical of all of this. I do not support any mandates. And I think people's health decisions should be their own thing. People know what's best for their body, or they should have the rights to be able to determine what's best for their bodies. They should be able to determine what sort of medical procedures and what sort of medical risks that they're willing to take. And the benefit of living now in current times is that if you're worried about these things, you can stay home. You can have groceries delivered. You can have these other types of things. A face covering mandate, for example, wouldn't even, for people that, number one, there's a lot of people that don't want to wear it. But number two, if it's just a plain cloth, that doesn't hardly do anything anyway. So the idea that you need that to be safe, it becomes all these types of weird things of enforcement. And then who's enforcing it? And then you have to have establishments. Then restaurants become police? It's just all kind of, nebulous and not good. Let's just say it's not good. Again, just trying to be a little abstract for the sake of our tech friends in San Francisco. But people should be able to make their own decisions. People know what's best for their own health. If you're worried, that's fine. You can take measures to mitigate your own risk to whatever degree that, I think we should just stick to the facts. Let's just stick to the facts. Let's get rid of the sensationalism. Let's look at the data and let's move forward. But so far, and this comes, I just had it a little over a month ago. I'm not quite fully recovered, a little tightness in the lungs, but I've had it twice. And so I know I'm not speaking from ignorance here. I understand what it's all about. I was knocked out pretty well for about 2 weeks. So I get it. But we have to deal with the facts. And the facts are that it's just not as deadly as all the hype. There are people who die. It's just not as deadly as the hype. And so we just have to be rational about how we're doing it. We can't be ruining our local businesses, saying that people are essential, non-essential, trying to turn restaurants into police or something, or fine them, or weird things. putting people out of business. People can mitigate their own risk with the technology that we have at hand, and we need to accept some sort of risk and become awesome again. I'm an American. I'm not scared of a disease. So we just have to we have to get back to normal. And the only way to get back to normal is to just go back to normal and accept some additional risk. We cannot be afraid for our whole lives. So time to get out there and get back to normal. And government shouldn't be getting involved in health decisions. And if you're worried about things, if you feel like there's a risk, please take care of yourself.